Hi, this is Kivi Leroux Miller with NonprofitMarketingGuide.com, and today I'm here with Kathy Swayze, the Creative Director and Founder of Impact Communications. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You are one of my all-time favorite nonprofit storytellers. Kathy does an incredible job at getting the right details that tell really compelling, motivating stories for nonprofits. Kathy, tell us how you do that. What's the magic?
Well, the first thing I always tell people is that they have to get up from their desk. We're all too comfortable sitting at our desks and thinking that the stories are going to come find us, but you have to get up and go find them very often. And really, it's about understanding what motivates, what pushes people's heartstrings. So, my favorite question to ask people in any interview is, tell me about a time when, a really memorable moment, when maybe you yourself even got a little choked up about the work that you're doing here. And inevitably, you get all kinds of reactions from people. Sometimes they'll say, I have to think about that for a minute, which tells you you're dealing with someone who's not so comfortable with getting emotional. But a lot of times they'll say, wow, there's so many, and the stories that follow from that are always phenomenal. And then you have to go back in and ask for more details, because they'll tell you the big broad strokes, but you need to know, often they tell you the good part, but you also have to start with the bad part. What was the person's life like before you helped them?
So how deep do you go?
Well, I had one of my staff say to me once, well, I'm afraid to ask her that because she might cry, and I say it's okay if she cries. So we try to go pretty deep, because we know you have to get the really good nuggets that give you a little shiver up your spine if you're going to move donors to action.
So you really need to speak to the frontline program people then. As a consultant who's hired by usually the communications or development department, you need to go beyond the communications or development part, don't you?
Absolutely, we do. And we also teach them how to go beyond, get outside of their department so that they can come back and bring the good stuff. And ultimately what we want is to have the program staff understand that it's all part of a big circle, that if they feed us good stuff, then we'll be able to feed them more money to do their good work.
And what are some tips that you have for a communications director that's trying to get their program staff to help them with stories? Mm-hmm. And the program staff are maybe saying, hey, that's not my job, or I'm too busy. Mm-hmm. What tips do you have? Well,
one tip I always love to give people is what happens a lot, and particularly with organizations that serve people and the general public, is that if you're out and about, people will come up to you and tell you stories. Like, I love your organization because when I was down and out, you did this for me. And so one of the simplest things that people on your entire staff can start to do is to just say to people, hand them your business card and say, could you email me that story? Because that's a great story. And so you don't have to be the one to sit down and put the details in it. And then sometimes the stories will just start coming into you. And the other tip for staff is to just remind them that we care about what they're working on. So it's not only showing interest when it's time for the next appeal to be written or the next newsletter to go out, but to sort of genuinely be caring about their updates and writing an email back to them when they send an update about something they're working on to build that relationship.
Kathy, what's a final tip on storytelling for nonprofits? What's one thing that you think is the obvious thing that nonprofits are missing, and if they just did it, they would really improve their storytelling?
Well, I think if people just remembered that they're writing to other human beings, and that the things that motivate them and the way that they make decisions, the motivators in their heart, are going to motivate other people as well.
Thanks, Kathy. Where can we learn more about Impact?
Our website is impactdc.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at ImpactKathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Bye.